And you're live.
Hello, welcome. Welcome to our breathing space here at the London Buddhist Centre. We're live streaming our YouTube classes from here now, so you get a bit of a different view. Still get the Buddha, but you get some other figures as well. On this side, you get Tara, the beautiful green figure, and there's Avalokiteshvara, Vajrapani, and Manjushri. And then on this side, we've got some of the disciples of the Buddha. So, yeah. And a lovely Buddha holding a lotus. So, yeah, welcome. And if you're used to practicing yoga with us live, you will recognize, actually in person rather, this is live. In person, then you'll recognize this room because this is where we normally teach. So yeah, do say hi in the chat box and where you're from, and maybe if you've tuned in before.
Yeah, so we've got Gurdeep from Port Talbot, who is a regular.
Gurdeep from Port Talbot, yep, I've heard your name quite a bit. Greetings from you in Wales, wonderful.
And you've got 8 people watching so far.
Great. Well, we'll start in a minute or so, so do get your mats, maybe a block or two if you've got them, or cushions, whatever you have to hand, really. Today's class is called A Bright Mind. So we're going to be brightening our minds through yoga. And I'm imagining most people will be practicing inside today. It's a bit windy out there and the weather's sort of turned a bit, hasn't it? It's sort of definitely turning a bit autumnal, which has its own beauty. So hopefully you're enjoying this change in the season. Okay, so we will get started. So welcome again. My name's Shradagita, and it's really nice to see you all and to be here with you today practicing. So I've got Anna here from the yoga team doing the tech support, which is great. And yeah, the class today is called A Bright Mind. So we're going to be, doing some yoga poses that hopefully will energize both body and mind and leave us with a bit of a brighter, clearer mind. So we're going to be doing some back bending as we move through the practice. And the great thing about back bends are that they're quite energizing. So if the body or mind are feeling a bit sluggish, a bit sort of slowful, tired, then they can really energize. And that energy can bring a kind of brightness to our whole being, body and mind. So we're going to just start by sitting for a moment or two, just to connect with ourselves a little bit, and also just to connect with how our mind actually is now. It's quite good to see how it is at the beginning of a class and then how it is at the end. Hopefully there's a difference. Okay, so let's just sit on our cushions or blocks, and we'll just gently close our eyes if we feel comfortable to do that. Otherwise, just have a soft focus, and we'll just take a few breaths to help us arrive a bit more into the space that we're in and the yoga mats that we're on. And sometimes I like to imagine when I step onto my yoga mat that I'm stepping onto this little island of calm and peace. And that connection with the yoga mat and the space we're in can then help us to connect with our body and ourselves more broadly. And we can also bear in mind that there are other people practicing on their yoga mats. So there are like these little islands dotted about, from Bethnal Green to the rest of London, right down to Wales as far as we know, to Port Talbot, and maybe beyond there. So just having a sense of those connections, both with yourself and others. And notice how your body feels today. And also notice what's going on in the mind. Is the mind relaxed, calm, open, a bit turgid, sleepy? It might already be quite bright and energized. There might be things you're preoccupied with. But whatever is there, just noticing it, acknowledging it, including it in your awareness, so that you know what you're practicing with, so that you're including all of yourself as you practice. And then we'll just follow a few breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And then we can also take a moment to just connect with why we decided to practice today. And also to just decide to really stay with the practice. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to do every pose. You might need to rest here and there, and that's fine. So listening to yourself, your body. And then slowly opening your eyes. Just taking in the space that you're in. And then we're just going to start with some hip raises. So we're going to lie on our back and just bring the feet to about hip width apart, have the feet parallel. You want them to be grounded, knees pointing upwards and forwards. Just take a moment to feel the back on the ground. And then as we inhale, we're going to let our hips slowly come off the ground, and then the back lifting, the hips and the back pressing the weight down into the ground through the feet, so activating the legs as well, and then slowly on the exhale releasing. So doing a few of these with your own rhythm of breath, inhaling, lifting the hips, peeling the back off the ground, and maybe you go a little bit higher as you ground the feet a little bit more, and then exhaling, releasing. And just have a moment where you feel that release in the back, and then start another cycle with the in-breath. So let's do 3 more of these. Wonderful. Just warming up the back, bringing some awareness into the back. Last one. And then slowly release. And then we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to add in our arms. So on the inhale, we're going to lift the arms behind us and lift the hips. Stretching out. And then exhale, release down. So doing about 4 or 5 of these. Lifting up, stretching the fingertips, stretching the arms. Pressing the feet into the ground, activating the core in a gentle way, and then exhaling, releasing, hands come down by the sides. 3 more. Last one, if you haven't got there already. If you have got there already, just resting for a moment. And then slowly release. And then we're going to roll over onto our sides, come up onto all 4s and do a few cat-cows. So walking the hands to about shoulder width, spreading the fingers, knees under the hips. And again, synchronizing with the breath, inhaling, lifting the chest, lifting the sitting bones, and exhaling, pressing the earth away with the hands, dropping the head and tail. Great. So again, just bringing some mobility into the back. When we're doing a lot of sitting, which probably most of us are sitting at home, working, or in our office, it's really good to bend the back forwards and then also round the back. So we're bending and rounding. So just doing a few more of these. And then coming back to neutral. And then I'd like us to lift our left leg back, pointing the toes down. So you can lift it a little bit higher than the hip or around hip height, but you don't need to lift it too high. And then right hand stretching forward. So feeling that diagonal line from fingertips to heel, breathing here. And then on the next exhale, elbow towards the knee and curl in. And then inhaling, stretching and lengthening. Exhale, curling in. So again, a gentle engagement in the core. It's as if you're gently zipping up your trousers. And then exhale, inhaling and exhaling. And as we inhale, lifting the chest. Last one, exhale and release. And then just for a moment, just moving the back a little bit from side to side, perhaps drawing some little hip circles. There might be a little bit of cracking. And then we'll do the other side. So lifting the right foot up, pointing the toes downwards, really stretching that heel back. So you're really activating, switching on the leg muscles. And also switching on the core. So have this sense of just a gentle lift, as if you're slightly zipping your pants up, your trousers. And then left arm stretches in front of you. Couple of breaths here, and then on the next exhale, rounding elbow to knee. Great. Inhaling and exhaling. So let's do 3 more of these. And then again, back to neutral. Well done. Just again, you can move the hips a little bit from side to side, drawing a few circles, or just kind of wagging your tail. Nice to do that after those movements. And then let's just walk our hands forward a bit into a half dog or a puppy dog. You can bring them as wide as your mat. And let the forehead move towards the floor. The chest is moving there, but you've got, again, a bit of engagement in the core. So the belly is lifted, chest moving towards the ground. Press the hands into the earth, spreading the fingers, opening the upper back. Breathing here. Two more breaths. Great, well done. And then slowly moving the hands back. And then we'll take a full downward dog. So tucking the toes, lifting the knees, lifting the hips, and coming onto the balls of the feet. Nice bent knees to begin with. Walking out the legs. Active in the hands, so the hands are pressing down and forward. And you're rolling your shoulders out from the inside. So it's an internal movement there to create more space. And keep the head poised in line with the spine. And then just lengthening out the backs of the legs. So a few more breaths here in the downward dog. If you need to take a rest at any point, just bring the knees down, stretch the arms forwards, come back into a child's pose. And then we're going to come into a lunge. So we're going to step our left foot forward, drop the right knee, and untuck the toes. So you're pressing the top of the back foot down onto the ground, and then let's sweep the arms forward and bring the palms forward, and then just slightly bend the elbows and look up, lifting the chest, keeping the neck nice and long, coming into a little back bend. If that's too much, then just raise the arms a little bit forward and just be more upright. But if you can, bring them back. Quite a nice stretch. 2 breaths here. And then let the arms come down so that the shoulders roll down the back. Bring the hands together and then bring the right elbow across the left knee. Looking down at your foot to begin with. Gain stability and then lengthen the back and then start to turn a little bit. Great, well done. Softening the jaw. Active in that front foot and the top of the back foot. Pressing the hands together, lifting the belly away from the thigh. Great. And then hands down, step that left foot back. Let's come back into a downward dog. Stretching out the legs again. And then swapping sides, so stepping the right foot through, left knee comes down. Finding the stability there, and then sweeping the arms forward and up. Opening the chest. Two breaths here. And then bringing the hands together, left elbow across the right knee. And finding your balance first of all, so maybe looking down at your foot And then you can start to lengthen and turn, turning towards the right. Two breaths here. Wonderful. Hands down, step the right foot back into a downward dog. And then from here, let's come through into a cobra. So dropping the knees, lowering the chest, sticking our bottoms up and coming really low down. And then hands next to the shoulders and lifting up, rolling the shoulders back. And then waving down. And again, waving up. So pressing the feet, pubic bone into the ground to lift up. Last one. Lifting the chest and release. And then you can bring the hands flat and come back into the downward dog. And then we're going to walk our feet forward between our hands and have a soft bend in the knees. See if you can take hold of your elbows and let the body release. So you can shake the head no and nod yes. It's like your back is like a waterfall, just releasing towards the floor. And if you're up higher, that's fine as well. A few breaths here. And then either placing the fingertips on the ground, or you can bring the hands onto your shins, and then lengthen forward as you inhale. And then as you exhale, bending the elbows and folding in towards the legs. Let's do that another 2 times. So inhaling, elongating the spine, keeping the neck long. Exhaling, fold in. Last one, inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to press the earth away with our feet and with the muscles of the legs. Slowly circle the arms up as well and come all the way up. Hands to the heart. And then we're going to step back into a high lunge. So we're going to step back with the right foot. So we're going to come onto the ball of the foot here. So get that sense of a kind of bounce and stability in the front foot. If this feels too much, then you can go back to just dropping that back knee. And then see again if you can sweep the arms forward and up. Let's have the palms facing the front for a moment and then lift the arms back, if that's okay on your lower back. If it isn't, bring the hands parallel and raise them a little bit higher so they're not going back so much. But if you can open, keeping that back leg straight, long in the lower back. Couple of breaths. Well done, great. And then bringing the hands together, bringing the right elbow across the left knee, looking down again. First of all, to get your balance, and then turn the chest. And again, if this is too much, just drop that knee, come back into it as a low lunge. Wonderful, well done, great. And then hands down, step back. And again, walk out the legs. And then we're going to walk all the way forward again and do the same thing on the other side. So again, we'll elongate the spine just once this time. Fold in and then circle the arms all the way up. Hands to the heart. And then step back with the left foot into the high lunge. Sweeping the arms forward and up, circling the arms back, long in that back leg, buoyant on the sole of the foot, the ball of the foot rather. Great. And then hands together, left elbow comes across right knee, lifting the belly away from the thigh, lengthen forward, lengthen the heel back, and start to turn. Feeling that space opening up through the torso, through the intercostal area. One more breath. Wonderful. Hands down and step forward this time. And I'll try not to get caught up in my microphone. And then lengthen forward one more time. Fold in. And then circling the arms all the way up. And bringing the hands to the heart. And just take a moment. Connecting again with your body. Noticing how the mind is now. And then reaching up with the arms on the inhale, exhale, folding, coming all the way down, hands to the floor, and then step back into a downward dog. And then we're going to come down into Sphinx. So knees come down, forearms come down, and we come into the Sphinx pose. So there's a few options with the arms in this pose. So you can have them like I've got them